I will. It's great to see you again. I'm in Costa Rica enjoying my coffee as I do every morning. And today I will like you to join me virtually, sadly, but in the future we could have it. You could join me with a real Costa Rican coffee to
Couldn't.
discuss some interesting topics for the IANUA community. How are you? Where
I'm
are
I'm
you
I'm
right
doing
now?
great. I'm in Los Angeles. It's great to see you. I really appreciate the opportunity to be able to chat with you this morning, and am sad that we're not meeting up there in your beautiful country. I had the opportunity to be there for the very first time earlier this year in Papagayo for a wedding at the beautiful Four Seasons. So got to see a small part of your beautiful country, and really looking forward to getting back to Costa Rica hopefully sometime soon.
Oh, that's amazing. I love Papagayo. I love the bay to jet ski
Yeah,
at the
beautiful.
bay. So it's a great place. And talking about Los Angeles, I was in July with my family at the Sequoia Park doing some visiting. So we are cross-pollinating.
We're exploring the world. Exactly.
Absolutely, absolutely. Maybe to start, you could share us about the KittyHawk, about the genesis.
Yeah.
How did you start it?
Yeah, of course, of course. So, my background's kind of a mix of entrepreneurship and venture capital, up until about 11 years ago, where I had the opportunity to join a place called Singularity University in its early days. And Singularity is a think tank and educational institution based up in Silicon Valley. It was started by Ray Kurzweil and Peter Diamandis. Peter founded the X Prize. As an author, Ray used to head up AI at Google and is now the chief futurist there. And they created this place at the NASA Ames Research Park to help educate people about what was happening at the very forefront of technology, and with a real belief that the world was about to go through this period of dramatic change driven by these accelerating technologies, and that there was no place you could go to kind of learn about all these technologies and what was happening at the very front line. And so I had the opportunity to join as executive director. I spent 7 years there, and it was just this incredible place to be meeting extraordinary human beings who are really at the forefront of technology, both technologists themselves, entrepreneurs, and investors, people who are kind of creating these technologies and building companies that were going to change industries and change what the world was going to look like, many of which the result of which we're really feeling and seeing right now. So I started investing into some of those entrepreneurs that I was meeting, and initially just doing it out of my own balance sheet, and then I started putting together some deals for close friends, and then I raised a small dedicated fund, and then just kind of kept going from there. And the entire time, kind of focused on these extraordinary mission-driven entrepreneurs that I was meeting. And so we focus all on kind of seed stage frontier technology companies, and that to us looks a lot. A lot of these companies are in the healthcare space. We also invest in computing, so AI and quantum, aerospace, climate. We're a little bit generalists in terms of technology, but really our kind of guiding light is to just find extraordinary entrepreneurs that see something very unique, have a really unique skill set to go after that problem, and they have that kind of grit and perseverance to build what should be a multi-billion-dollar company. So we've now raising our investing out of our fourth fund. We've got $120 million under management. That will be a $50 million fund. And we also have another part of our business called KittyHawk Secondaries. So we've partnered up with NASDAQ Private Markets, which is a spin out of NASDAQ focused on late stage secondary sales. And we're basically have signed this exclusive partnership with them that enables us to buy the small lots. So from employees at unicorn companies who historically have had a very hard time selling their stock, with this partnership, it's now enabling these employees to be able to sell their small stock for us to aggregate that stock and either sell it upstream to a bigger buyer, or if it's a company we really want to hold on through IPO, then to be able to hold that through IPO. So we're based in Los Angeles, 6 people, 120 million under management. Feel incredibly lucky to be doing what we're doing and to be working with the extraordinary entrepreneurs and companies that we get to see.
Wow, this is great. And sometimes when you're sitting here, well, I'm in Costa Rica, but I'm talking in general in Latin America. You see the Silicon Valley ecosystem, the unicorn, and everything that is happening so far away. But now part of our idea is to put those opportunities closer to families, to investors. Um, I have I love your company name, KittyHawk. I read a bit about the story, but why don't you also share us about the name and the rationale behind?
Yeah. So Kitty Hawk, North Carolina is where the Wright brothers invented and flew the first airplane. So it's this incredible story of innovation and entrepreneurship that resulted in the birth of a new industry and obviously had an extraordinary impact on the world. And so I grew up in a household kind of surrounded by airplanes and aviation. So that was part of the attraction. But part of it was also just this story really resonated with me so much. And when I was launching Kitty Hawk at Singularity University, Singularity was this place that gave me this vantage point to be able to see the birth of these new technologies and new industries. And so I really like that as kind of the framework. And so our goal is to go out and try to find, the Wright brothers, individuals or brothers. Actually, we just invested into our first company that's founded by 2 brothers, which is pretty neat. So it's just a wonderful story and about the impact that entrepreneurship can have on the world. And those are the type of opportunities that we look for. We could really help seed something that could go out and have a profound impact and obviously create incredible economic value as well.
Well, even behind the name, there's a frontier technology story that happened a while ago, but well, it changed definitely an industry or created an industry to be more specific.
That's right.
Many families here in Latin America as an emerging market and new wealth, usually first or in sometimes second generations, are quite traditional regarding wealth preservation and the type of investment they do. They usually go to fixed return, real estate, private lending, secure private lending in some cases, but we always incentivize them to diversify the portfolio and have a small allocation in frontier technologies. But when they talk about the risk management and everything, frontier is not, hey, go to the crazy kid, crazy in a positive way that and invest in something and put some money there because that's too risky. It has to be through a company that do a proper wealth management, that have an investment procedure, everything. So maybe you could talk a bit about why Kitty Hawk is a strong option for families, connecting both worlds, frontier technologies, great multiples, eventual unicorns, but also with proper risk management for more traditional families.
Yeah. So I think direct investing is very hard. Like it's very important to build up a portfolio where you're investing in these type of early stage companies that are really at the forefront of what's happening in the world of technology. And so I know many friends and families and some of our other investors who have, during different periods of their investing evolution, have tried their hand at direct investing and over time have kind of moved back to finding great managers to partner with over the long term and relying on those managers. So, it does take often a full-time focus and a deep understanding of these areas to be able to pick the right companies and to be able to have the time and team to be able to help impact those companies. It is a long journey to help build a great company, but one that we love focusing our energies around, and that can be incredibly rewarding. So like one of our companies in our second fund, a company called Vitalize Health, we were the very first investor into that company, institutional investor into the seed, and then led the Series A. That company was just named the fastest growing company in America, so #1 on the Inc. 5000, and that was a company that had a very novel technology, a novel business model, and for us really to be able to spot this extraordinary entrepreneur, to be able to work with them over several years to help them kind of shape the company and shape the team and the opportunity. That company will do over $4 billion in revenue this year. And that's up from, it had done, I think, like 700,000 in revenue the year before we invested. And so just like extraordinary growth, lots of challenges and hard problems that really required leveraging our resources, both capital and experience, to be able to help shape these companies. And so I think you want to find investors and to partner with managers, to partner with who have very interesting and unique deal flow that you might not be able to see, that have a network that could really help accelerate these companies as well. And I think kind of one other thing to think about, I mean, frontier technology or deep technology sounds scary, and early stage venture, is a hit-driven business. But it's really also critically important for, I think, families to have a seat at the table here and to be able to understand what is happening and see what is happening really at the front lines of technology, because things are accelerating so quickly now. And there is no question, like if they still have operating businesses, technology is going to radically impact those businesses. And we're, just at kind of the knee in the curve here, where things were starting to feel some of this acceleration, but it's nothing compared to what's coming down the road. And so I would say, besides being able to generate some really extraordinary returns, and I personally believe that more wealth is going to be generated in the next 10 years than was likely generated in the history of humankind up to this point, like just extraordinary value creation. But it's really, really important to be able to understand, what is happening around AI, what is happening at the forefront of technology, and how is space potentially going to impact my business and my life. And investing into these early stage kind of frontier technology focused funds will give you a seat at the table to be able to see that.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. And in some cases, to have access to exclusive deals, that this is something that we promote a lot and talk about it here at the IANUA community. Because, for example, what you described at the beginning of the call about the KittyHawk secondaries, based on your strong relationship with NASDAQ, otherwise it's impossible. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the pre-IPO company, potential unicorn, to get access to early employees stock and buy it and have an exposure is probably, if not impossible, really, really difficult without the right connections, access, track record, and everything. So if you're very traditional and sometimes early stage seed investment frontier sounds really scary or high risk for your risk appetite, at least at the beginning, I think that's a very good starting point.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. I mean, venture, both the frontier side and later stage secondaries, it is really a relationship business, and the relationships that I and my team have been able to build up over our careers are what present these opportunities for us. The secondaries business is a great example of that. And I've known the CEO of NASDAQ Private Markets for actually since high school. He has been a great and close friend, and reached out to me last summer with this opportunity where they were getting 20 to 50 kind of inbound emails every week from employees at these unicorn companies. And a typical transaction on NASDAQ private markets, NPM, is about $16 million. And so they just could not make a market economically in any of these small lots that these employee sales represented. So if an employee wanted to sell $500,000 or $250,000 worth of stock, they just couldn't be in that business. And so that made it very challenging for employees who would have to try to find a broker to sell their shares, or oftentimes, because the sizes were so small, they couldn't even get a broker interested. And so with this relationship, we essentially get to see these exclusively, these deals. We don't have any sort of transaction fee for transacting compared to all the other buyers on NASDAQ private markets. And it's almost like we're making a market basically in these small lots. And so it's unique deal flow. We're buying at a discount because they're small, because they're common shares. We're buying at a discount to what's trading in the bigger blocks. And so we've got a really interesting and proprietary opportunity to kind of access these companies, pool them up, and then quickly sell them off if we want at a premium, and recycle that capital and reduce our balance sheet risk, or to hold on to a great company that we know is going to be an IPO candidate in the next couple of years. And all these companies are very late stage. So they've raised their last private capital. The idea is that their next step is to go public, or they will be acquired. So I think very interesting and unique opportunities. And again, a lot of this is helping people get exposed to companies. And besides generating great returns, there's this nice secondary benefit of like understanding where the world is going and potentially being able to identify companies that could be service providers to your bigger businesses, or technologies that could play an impact, have a big impact on, on what you're doing and what you're building.
Yes, no, definitely. And my opinion is a very good way to get into this type of investments. Just to close, I would like you to explain us, or to talk a bit. This topic could be a whole conversation topic, but my favorite company of your portfolio is Lone Star Data Holdings, because what you're doing, in my opinion, or what the company is doing, is amazing, and it's another example of frontier technologies where things are moving really fast. 2 years ago, nobody was talking about AI. Right now, everybody's talking about AI. Apple event a couple of days ago was everything about AI. So right now, everybody at least know what it is AI. So why don't you tell us in a couple of minutes about Lone Star Data Holdings as an example of frontier technologies investment?
Yeah, certainly, Sergio. So this is a company that on the surface sounds crazy, but as you dig
That's
in,
why I love it.
yeah. But as you dig in, it's not crazy at all, and there's a very linear path to building a very exciting and very big company. So the space economy is now, into the hundreds of billions of dollars every year. So there's an enormous economy that's being built that's just focused on space. Lone Star Data has created a company that is focused on data recovery, so data storage, and edge computing in space. And again, sounds kind of crazy on the surface, but they actually already have customers. They have sold out inventory actually already. So they are building, and they're basically building these data centers that will reside in orbit on the moon, around the moon, and on the lunar surface itself. And they actually successfully landed on the moon a few months back, and were part of the very first private spaceship mission to ever land on the moon. So this extraordinary accomplishment, and really, really exciting to have a portfolio company that has landed on the moon and successfully was able to to send data from to the moon, store it, and then to actually be able to send it back. And then they're also building edge computing out there. So what turns out is there is an incredible amount of data collection that's taking place up there. They need to be able to process that data to kind of reduce it down and then to be able to send it back to Earth. If you don't do that, there's dramatically significant costs from a bandwidth perspective in sending just the raw, huge quantities of raw data back down to Earth. And so they're creating these very, very important capabilities that are going to be a critical component of the space economy. Already starting to sign customers and getting some really exciting traction. So it's one that sounds pretty out there and wild, but actually it's really linear, and there's a really beautiful business that's being built there. And I would say that that's how we think about investing in general. Like, some of these businesses sound like they're moonshots. Like, we're not investing in moonshots. We're investing in hard engineering problems that we see a very clear path to, building a great business. There's reduced, like, we understand what the engineering risk is and think that there's a finite set of tasks that need to happen in order for this to be a very attractive and big business. And so it's pretty, if you look at our portfolio, there's the companies on the surface might seem pretty interesting, and but they're really, people are building extraordinary businesses there that are gonna shape the world, and companies that have the potential to be, $50 billion, $100 billion type of companies, and to really, again, kind of change how the world operates and what is possible. So really exciting stuff to be part of, and feel super lucky to be getting to spend my day looking at such amazing companies and working with extraordinary entrepreneurs.
Absolutely. And as a closing comment, I believe it's a good point what you are referring, because there are not moonshots. Amazing technology, amazing vision. However, with really well structured team, business plans, and very linear strategy. So this is why some of them, or many of them in the future, if not in the Frontier Fund, probably in the NASDAQ secondaries, they will be available for family office and sophisticated investors. Will, thank you a lot for this time. And as I mentioned, eventually let's have a face-to-face coffee again.
On the beach in Costa Rica. May it happen soon.
Absolutely.
Thanks so much for your time, Sergio. Great to see you, my friend.
Thank you. Good to see you. Bye.
Bye-bye.